Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Liz.
Wonderful. Well, hello and welcome to the orientation for Leadership and Management Health and our Leadership and Management and Health course. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to join us today. Our goal of conducting this webinar prior to the start of the course is to help you have a smooth start, orient you to the course structure, learning activities, and expectations. I want to call your attention to the right side of the screen where you should see what we are calling the chat pod. If you have technical support questions, please post them here and Chris Joss, our wonderful technical support specialist, will respond. There's also a question and answer pod, which you can answer or which you can access by clicking the Q&A pod and at the bottom of your screen. And you can use this pod to ask your questions about the course, and then we will respond to your questions. This just makes it easier for our team to answer your questions, and the threading feature will make it just easier for us to know what's been addressed and what hasn't. So with that, let's meet the team. And here on your screen is the team that is putting together the Leadership and Management course. Your course leader, of course, is Dr. Britt Yamamoto, along with co-instructor, Dr. Ann Downer. You will also hear from a variety of guest speakers throughout the course. Our student support specialist is Dewa, and you will also hear from her throughout the course. I myself am Liz, and I'm the e-learning developer who helped create this course. And then we also have Missy and Meg, who are your course administrators, and you may have already heard from them, or you will hear from them periodically throughout the course. And then finally, there's Chris, who is our digital media and e-learning support specialist who will provide technical support for this course. And as you know, this course is offered by the University of Washington Department of Global Health e-learning program. We are based in Seattle, and that is where the gold star is on the screen. And the purple countries are where you and your other peers and students in the course are based. So the goal of this course is to improve the delivery of quality health services by strengthening the leadership and management skills of program participants. You'll also learn how to approach management challenges in health settings with organizational management as a guide. Pose meaningful questions about what constitutes effective leadership and management in different settings. Use core principles and tools for human resource and financial management to address challenges and solve problems. Translate insights from self-assessment into personal plans for improving skills. Identify and consult appropriate sources for data for making sound management decisions. Align and motivate individuals, systems, and resources towards a common purpose. Design and manage systems that are responsive to national and international requirements and demonstrate accountability to stakeholders. Identify monitoring and evaluation methods that answer key questions about programmatic efficiency and effectiveness. And then last, we feel most importantly, you'll also learn how to refine and inform a professional value system by taking many assessments. This course offers many practical tools and resources to take with you into your work. So on the next screen, now you can see a list of the course modules. These modules align with the course objectives that we just reviewed on the previous screen. And as you can see, there are a total of 11 weeks, 10 weeks of content in addition to an introductory module to help you acclimate to the online learning environment, as well as a final course wrap-up module. This course will begin on September 20th, and during this first week, you will be asked to complete modules 0 and 1. Module 0 will introduce you to the online learning environment and help prepare you for the entire 10 weeks of learning. Please note that Also in Module 0, there is a course policy quiz. This quiz is not graded, but required for you to complete in order to access Module 1's course materials. So please do not skip over Module 0's introductory materials. And on the next screen, each week you will have assignments to complete, and we will discuss this more in detail in the upcoming slides. But for now, please note that the ones bolded right here, weeks 3, 7, and 10, are when your individual learning plans, also referred to as an ILP, those are due. Also, your final presentation will be due during week 11, and we'll go into more detail about these assignments momentarily. So we estimate that will take about 6 to 8 hours each week to watch video lectures, do any of the required readings, participate in discussion forums, and complete the assignments, quizzes, and optional activities. Please note that this course is designed in a way that will allow you to break up those 6 to 8 hours of coursework. However, it best fits your schedule. So maybe take a look at your calendar and see when you are most available, just to help you organize your study times. Course materials will become available to you a week before their official start date. This is meant to help you plan in advance, download course materials. It's just a great way to get a head start and be ready for the materials when your schedule allows. So take some time to think about your work, your home schedules, carve out designated times to work on your course materials. Now on your screen is the course grading rubric, and you can see that discussion forums are worth 10% of your final grade, and there are 5. These are in weeks 2, 4, 6, 8, and 11. Your discussion group, which will have about 25 to 30 people, is selected at random and will most likely include people from different groups than your local site group. And this is really meant for you to be able to interact with people from different regions and countries. The weekly quizzes are worth 30% of your grade, and you have 2 attempts for each quiz. Each quiz includes 10 questions in most cases, and the quizzes will cover content presented in the video lectures, required readings. So also just please note there is no final exam. And with that said, there are 2 main assignments. Dewa, can we go back one slide, please? First is the individual learning plan, or the ILP, which is worth 35% of your final grade, and the final presentation, which is worth 25% of your grade. The ILP is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is due during week 3 again, and then the second part, week 7, and then the final week 10. And then last, the final presentation will be given during week 11 of the course. If you are part of a site group, you will present at your site and upload your presentation into the course website. If you are not part of a site group, you will simply upload your final presentation into the course website. Please note that detailed instructions on the ILP and final presentation are included in the course website and available to you at the start of the course and throughout the entirety of the course. So on the next screen, Dewa, can we go to slide 9 by chance? So that we're seeing the ILP. Thank you. Okay, so everyone, just a note about the individual learning plan. Again, it's often referred to as the ILP in the course materials. This assignment is a set of questions for you to reflect on from the content presented in that week's module. Each week, you'll be prompted to respond to questions in this ILP document. You will download the ILP during week 1 and respond to a selection of questions each week. Again, these ILP questions correlate with the content in each week. The ILP is also worth the most points across the entire course, and that is because it is an important exercise in that there's not only integration and content application, but self-reflection from many of the assessments included in this course as well. And as I previously mentioned, ILP is due at 3 points, weeks 3, 7, and 10 in the course. And due dates are listed in the course website along with reminder prompts. You'll see announcements to make sure that you do not forget to submit. The first 2 times you submit your ILP, again, it's worth 10 points each. The final ILP submission will be worth 15 points, making the ILP worth a total of 35 points, or 35% of your overall grade. So if you wait until the end of the course to submit your ILP, you will still earn points, but we'd strongly encourage you to keep up with the work each week in order to get the most out of the course and the assignment. So on to the next screen. To earn a certificate of completion for this course online, you must pass the course with at least 70% average on the graded activities. And then on the next screen, if you are part of a site group in this course, you will also need to attend 75% of the meetings in order to receive your certificate of completion. Please note that we do encourage 4 site meetings in this course, which can include this orientation session that you all are fabulously logged into. But depending on your site and your site coordinator, you may be requested to attend more meetings. Also, if you are not enrolled in this course as part of a site group, then the site attendance does not apply to you. So going on to the next screen, for those enrolled in this course as a site group, the site meetings are a good opportunity to break into smaller groups and give each other feedback on assignments and activities. Alternatively, you could discuss some of the case studies or other activities presented in the modules. Site meetings also allow you to discuss how to apply the course concepts to your local context, particularly if you're taking the course with others from your organization. Also, due to COVID-19, please follow your local health, public health guidelines for meeting in person. We do still strongly recommend meeting virtually out of an abundance of caution. And so shifting gears a little bit, I just want to take a moment to talk about plagiarism, which is a problem we have had in other courses. And to support academic integrity, we may be checking assignments to see if you copied anything from other participants or plagiarized from other sources. So plagiarism is taking work and not crediting the source, which makes it seem like the work was your own original idea. So please do not copy and paste from a source or a fellow participant. If you want to quote a source, please cite that source. You're really just robbing yourself of enriching your learning experience when you plagiarize. And on the next screen, any assignments that reveal any degree of plagiarism may be subject to a 0 score. So when in doubt, please just cite your sources. It just makes it easier for everyone. Okay, and then shifting the conversation again, we do strive to resolve your questions as quickly as we can and within a 24 to 48 hour period. So please remember, for many of you, we are half a world away. And so we may not really just see your question for even up to 12 hours. Also, we may be slow to respond on weekends. So if you do send something on a Saturday, we will respond first thing on Monday. There are discussion forums also for you to ask technical support and content questions, which Dewa will show you in a moment. And if you need help, you can email edghhelp@uw.edu, and we can respond to your questions more quickly if you include the information that's listed on the screen in your initial request. So name of the course, in this case, obviously leadership, the email address you are using to log into the course, detailed description of the problem, a screenshot if applicable. And also we do have in the introductory module job aid or instructions on how to take a screenshot. So if you're wondering what that is, don't worry, there are instructions in the introductory module. And then last, if you are experiencing the problem on a mobile device. So with that said, I would like to hand over the session to Dewa, who will walk you through the course website.
Great, thank you so much for that, Liz. Can you see the course homepage?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. All right, thanks everyone. My name is Dewa Greenleaf, as Liz introduced earlier in the webinar. I am going to be supporting you through the course once it gets started. And for this webinar, I want to take you through the course homepage so that once the course starts and you are added to the course, you know how to navigate the course page and where to find all the information that you need so that you can be successful in the course. So I'll just kind of take you through a tour of the course itself. We're going to start on the home page of the course. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is on the very left side of the screen, there is a toolbar, and this is the main navigation toolbar for your Canvas account. So any account details that you might need to view are listed under account. Dashboard is where the courses that you are currently enrolled in are listed. So if you are taking another course with us this autumn term, that will be listed along with this one in the course dashboard. The courses, this is the one that we're in right now. And then there's also a couple other features. There's calendar and inbox. And these will, the calendar will list the due dates for the assignments. So you can see that kind of on a calendar setting. And then inbox you can use to message me, or if you need to message any of your peers in the course, you can do that through there. And then to the right of that navigation bar is the main toolbar for the course itself. And I'm going to take you through each one of these tabs and show you what you can find there and just kind of how to navigate. So we'll start with the home page. You can see that there's an introduction to our instructors for the course, and then some information below, and just a kind of a welcome from our course instructors. There's a welcome video, and then there's a few links that are hyperlinked here. So the course syllabus, you can click on that to take you directly to the course syllabus, a link to the announcements, which I'll show you further, and then the modules, and then also some information on technical requirements. And that is also in the introductory module of the course. The other thing I want to draw your attention to here on the very left side of the screen, there is a to-do list. And this to-do list will give you a kind of a preview of the assignments that are coming up that you need to submit. So it gives you a hyperlink to the assignment itself. You can see that in module 1, there is a quiz due, tells you how many points it's worth, and then it also tells you the due date for that. And so as you complete these assignments, these should disappear from your to-do list, but these are the ones that are kind of coming up in the next several weeks, so that you can just kind of have a snapshot of the assignments that you need to submit.
Dewa, we're getting a request for you to increase your volume a little, if you could.
Sure. How is that? Is that any better?
It's similar, but I think a little better maybe.
Okay, I'll try to speak a little bit louder.
That's better. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Sorry about that. So the course syllabus is the next tab that we're going to run through. And at the top here, we have some information about our course instructors and then contact information for me. You can use this email address to contact me for questions. It's edgh@uw.edu. And then we've got the course description, a link to the downloadable course syllabus, which is one of the first things you'll want to do once you are added to the course. You'll want to download and save the course syllabus and read through that. As Liz mentioned, there is a course policy quiz that you will need to complete when you are added to the course. I will show you that from the modules page. And then that course policy quiz is not graded in terms of it doesn't count towards your final grade, but it is required in order to move on to the first couple modules. The course aims are listed out, and then some additional information. The grading rubric is listed here again, which Liz went over, our late work policy, and then some other policies as well. Our guest speakers are listed here. And then I just wanted to draw your attention to the bottom of this screen. There is a schedule listed out here as well. And it tells you the due dates for all of the assignments and then links the assignments themselves. So if you, this is just one of the ways that you can access the assignments if needed, but there are a number of ways. So I will show those to you so that you can use what makes sense for you. There's a calendar listed here, and then again, the grading rubric for the course is listed. The assignments are the ILP, the 3 parts of the ILP, and the final presentation. And then we have the discussions, and then the weekly quizzes, which total 100% for your final grade. All right, the next tab I want to show you is the announcements tab. So I will be communicating with you all weekly and giving you an overview of what is to come that week, an idea of what we'll be covering in the course, the content we'll be covering, and also the assignments that are due. So I send that out through the announcements, and that'll come to your email. Whatever email you use to access the course that you registered with, those announcements will come to your email inbox. But if you accidentally delete an email or if you are having trouble finding it, you can always go into our course homepage and go to announcements, and those email communications are always listed in announcements. So I just wanted to show you one as an example. It gives you information, like I said, in terms of what we'll be covering that module. And then all of the information that you need is linked. So all of these are hyperlinked. The assignments are linked. I give you a heads up on due dates and just some further information as well. So this is kind of the first email that welcomes you to the course and gives you an overview of the first module that we'll be covering. Okay, the next tab is the modules tab. And as Liz mentioned, there is this introductory module that you'll be covering when you first join the course. And this introductory module has all kinds of information that will help you be successful in the course, information that you will need to move forward through the course. There are you can see these listed out. There's information on frequently asked questions, the expectations for discussions, information on how to be successful in an online course, and then just some information on leadership as well. And so once you have gone through this introductory module, and once you've gone through the course syllabus, you'll want to take this course policy quiz. And the course policy quiz, as you can see, is worth 0 points, so it doesn't count towards your final grade, but it will be required in order to move on to the first couple of modules. So below that introductory module, you can see all of the modules for the course are listed out. Most of them are closed right now since the course is not started yet, and they will open a week at a time. They open a week before we are scheduled to cover that module. So as Liz mentioned, you can work ahead if that works for your schedule, and we do encourage you to do so. And you can see the dates that these modules will open. Just going into the first module, just to give you an idea of what the modules look like. So all of the course content for the course is found in the modules. So all of the readings, the lectures, all the assignments are all found here on this modules page. So just kind of scrolling through, you can see that we always list the learning objectives for the module at the very beginning. And then the lectures are listed out. And one thing I want to draw your attention to in terms of the lectures, there are several options in terms of how to view the lectures. So you can press the play button and stream it and watch the lecture that way. You can also download either an MP4 of the lecture. You can download an MP3 of the audio of the lecture. And then we also provide a PDF transcript of the lectures as well. And if this way, if you find yourself in a resource limited setting, or if you're stationed somewhere for work that has limited connectivity, these downloadable options are there for you to use if needed. We've also found that a number of people will have let us know through our evaluations that viewing the lecture video or listening to the audio while also reading the transcript is also a helpful way to learn the material as well. You can see here there's a link to the ILP assignment. The readings are linked, and then for more lectures. And then scrolling down to the bottom here, we do have a section at the end of every module that gives you additional resources. So these are not required for you to go to, but if you want more information on some of the topics covered in that module, you can find links to that in the resources section at the bottom of the page. So just again, the modules are where all the course material resides. So as I'm kind of going through this, you can see that there's a number of ways that you can get to the assignments in the course. And the modules is one of them that we always link the assignments within them, along with the lectures and the readings as well. The next tab I want to show you is the assignments tab. And the assignments tab lists out all the assignments that are due for the course. We have the ILP parts 1 and 2, and then the final. Again, the part 1 ILP is due during module 3. Part 2 is due during module 7, and then the final you'll be submitting during module 10. And then we have this final presentation that is due in module 11 of the course. The discussions are listed out here. Again, not all the modules have a discussion due. There are 5 discussions total throughout the course, and they are found in modules 2, 4, 6, 8, and 11. Every module does have a weekly quiz due, and you can find those listed here. Well, module 11 does not have a quiz due, but modules 1 through 10 do. The next tab I want to show you is the discussions tab. So there are a few pinned discussions at the top of this page. The first one is the technical support discussion. If you have any questions related to technical support, you can ask them in this forum. Chris will monitor this forum and answer your questions there. The next forum is the course content forum. And if you have any course-related questions regarding content, you can post your questions there. I will monitor this forum and answer your questions there. Just a note, this course will probably have quite a few participants. And as we get into module 4 and 5 and kind of midway into the course content forum does get rather large. And so you may find that it is hard to kind of wade through the the post on that. So if you ever need to reach out and contact me immediately, you can always email me at edgh@uw.edu. That is always a great option in terms of reaching out and getting an answer right away. The third pin discussion is the Classroom Cafe, and that is a forum that you can use to interact with your peers in the course, and it doesn't necessarily have to be related to course content. And then we have the discussions listed out here. Again, this is just another way that you can access the discussions in the course. The next tab is the quizzes tab, and you can see the quizzes listed out here, just like they were in the assignments tab. And there are also some case studies that we have throughout the course within the modules. These are just for your practice. They don't need to be submitted for grading. They don't count towards your final grade, but those are listed out here as well if you need to access those quickly. And then the last tab I want to show you is the grades tab. So this is where you can take a look at your grade. You will get notified when a grade is posted. So you'll get a notification for that, but you can take a look at your grades here. As you complete the assignments, your score will be listed here. It shows you the number of points that each of the assignments is worth. And it also shows you the due dates for these assignments. And then at the bottom here, it gives you kind of a running total of your grade in the course. And that's just, like I said, it is a running total. So it's just what your grade would be if the course were to end at that moment in time. But again, your grade is not finalized until the very end of the course. And because this course does have a couple of larger assignments due at the end of the course, just keep in mind that your grade, when you check it at maybe module 3 or 5, may not be reflective of your grade at the end, especially if you miss those larger assignments at the end. A note about grades. So the quizzes that you take, the weekly quizzes, those are, as Liz said, you do have 2 attempts on those quizzes. So you can take the quiz, and if you're not happy with your score, the first time you can take it again, and the higher score between the 2 attempts will automatically be saved. So there's not any risk in lowering your score by taking the quiz a second time. So you have 2 attempts for the quizzes, and your grades will be posted just basically immediately after you take the quiz. May take a few minutes to update, but those are pretty much immediately posted. And then the discussions, and then the ILPs and the final presentation, those assignments are graded. And the grades for those assignments are always posted the day after they're due. So for example, this module 2 discussion, it shows that it's due on October 3rd, or it's due by October 3rd at 11:59 p.m. So when you complete that discussion, you can expect to see your grade posted by the next day, October 4th, by the end of the day. So as we said before, we do encourage you to work ahead if that works with your schedule, so that you can stay on top of the material. But if you do complete the discussion early, just know that your grade will still be posted the Monday after it is due. And then just going back, I just want to go back to assignments real quick. So we kind of keep mentioning this point, but I want to just reiterate it one more time. The assignments in the modules do open a week before we are scheduled to cover them. So you can complete the coursework early if that works for you. You can also complete it during the week that we are covering the module. And we also keep the assignments open a week after the due date. So let me go down to, let's go down to the module 1 quiz here. So the module 1 quiz is due on September 26th. And so you can complete the quiz anytime, before that due date. And we also keep it open though a week after that due date. So for that module 1 quiz, it'll be open until October 3rd, for example. So after that due date passes, you can still complete the quiz. It will be marked late, but there's no penalty for submitting that quiz late. And then once that quiz closes on October 3rd, it can no longer be submitted for grading. So assignments are all open the week before we cover them, the week that we cover the module, and then an additional week after that you can submit any of the assignments late as well. So you have 3 weeks, to a span of 3 weeks to complete each of the assignments. So just keep that in mind, because I know that, life happens, things come up, and just keep in mind though that all of the assignments that you have, that 3-week window. So you can complete it early, you can complete it that week of, and you can also complete it late. And then once the assignments close, they can no longer be submitted. The key thing I want to stress is that just take a look at the assignments and their how much they're worth towards your final grade. So for example, the weekly quizzes are worth 3 points each. The discussions are worth 2 points each towards your final grade. And then the larger assignments, the ILP parts 1 and 2 are worth 10 points. The final ILP is worth 15 points, and then the final presentation is worth 25 points. So if you miss a discussion or if you miss a quiz, it's not going to hugely impact your final grade. Remember, you need to earn at least 70% in the coursework by the end of the course in order to pass and receive a certificate of completion. However, these larger assignments, the ILP components and also the final presentation, they are worth a significant chunk of your final grade. These assignments total 60% of your total grade. So these are the ones that you really want to make sure that you keep up on and that you don't miss the deadlines for these assignments. So yeah, just kind of a tip on keeping track of the assignments and how much they're worth, and making sure to get those larger assignments submitted. All right, I think there are some questions that have come in, so I will open it up to Missy and May and Liz and Chris and see if there's any questions that we can address. And then if you have any questions, we do have some time to answer your questions, so you can type it in the Q&A pod that you can find at the bottom of your screen.
Thanks, Sewa. There are a few questions also related to the your part of the presentation. So I'll just call a few out that I saw in the chat. One was whether the quizzes were timed or whether any of the questions were timed.
Okay, great. Yes, that is a great question. So the quizzes are not timed. I'm not sure if this is still a feature, but in the past there was a feature where there's kind of a timer. It gives, once you start the quiz, it kind of starts a timer. You can just ignore that because there is no time limit for the quiz. So that timer feature may be there for you, or it may not be, but there's no time limit for the quiz.
Thanks. Another is from someone that's wondering if they need to submit a similarity index report for each assignment submission or the ILP, and they're also wondering what tool we use to assess plagiarism.
So you do not need to submit the similarity index report for the assignments. The nature of this course is really a course where we present content on leadership, and we cover topics like communicating effectively, conflict management, leadership, things like that. And we present these topics and then we ask you to really reflect on them and apply them to your own professional journey, situations that you may have encountered at work or that you continue to encounter in a professional setting. and kind of reflect on those topics. And so the nature of this course is really reflective in terms of taking the course material, taking the content, and then really applying it to yourself. And so just, just the note on plagiarism, um, in order to get the most out of the course, we really want you to take these concepts and apply them to yourself. And so um, any degree of plagiarism in this course is not only, not something that we will tolerate, but it's also not really helpful to you in terms of what you can get out of the course. And so this course is one of our more popular courses, and we always receive lots of feedback after the course is done in terms of the impact that the course has on people's professional journeys, and also um, being able to apply the concepts in their personal lives. And so I would just keep that in mind when approaching the course, in that you really are going through a journey in terms of learning content that is academic, but it really ultimately we want it to we want you to be able to apply it to yourself. So yeah, I hope that answers that plagiarism question.
Thanks, Stella. Another question was about the documentation standard for citations.
Yeah, so um, in terms of citations, and this goes for all of our courses, not just this one, we don't have a style that we require your citations to be in. Most people typically for our courses use the APA style. However, if you are more comfortable with a different style, that is totally fine. We just ask you to be consistent with your citation style, and just be sure to cite when you use material from outside sources.
Thank you. Another question was whether there was a way to retry or a button to retry taking a quiz or resubmitting something if someone was not satisfied with their grades.
Sure. So the quizzes do have 2 attempts. So if you are not happy with your grade with the first attempt on the quiz, you can take it again. In terms of the discussions, you will be posting, there will be a prompt, there'll be a question that will be reflecting on the course material for that week, and there'll be a prompt for you to answer. And you will type up your answer and post it on the discussion forum. There's an editing feature on that. So if you post something and you realize that you want to add to it, or that you want to expand your thoughts, you can always edit that feature and add to it. You can also post a follow-up post as well. So that is an option for the discussions. In terms of the ILP, the components of the ILP in the final presentation, there's not really necessarily a resubmission feature. If you happen to submit an assignment and then you realize, I really wanted to add to it, and you do want to resubmit, I would say that that is fine, as long as you do that before the due date, because once the due date passes, we will grade them and the grades will be posted. So if you do need to resubmit, that is totally fine, as long as you do it before the due date for the assignment.
Thanks. I'm seeing that my volume is a little low. I'll try to speak a little bit louder. Hopefully that's a little better. So there's a question about participating as part of a site versus an individual. And so I will go ahead and answer that question. So there are currently 2 ways to apply to participate in our courses. One is independently, that's taking the course on your own, and the other is as part of a site group that you're part of. This is something that you would have chosen when you applied for the course. A site is an organizational or regional group, and their participants sign up together to take the course, and they also participate together throughout the course. So if you're part of a site, you'll connect with your site either in person or through remote meetings, and you learn together collaboratively, discussing how the course can be applied within your organization and community and your local setting. And it's kind of, Liz sometimes says it's like a study group that you connect in your group, in addition to the online course you meet separately throughout the course. Attendance is a factor if you're part of a site group. Meeting 3 of 4 times is required if you're taking the course as part of a site. If you're participating in the course independently and studying on your own, you'll have the opportunity still, though, to discuss the course and connect with other participants through the online discussion boards within the course, and they provide a forum for those types of ongoing discussions. So both are great ways to take the course. So I hope that helps answer that question. And let's see, Deba, are you seeing the Q&A, or would you like me to let you know? Oh, I can see that you are. Okay. Okay.
Yes, thank you for kind of emceeing for me while I was getting my bearings after doing the Canvas tour.
No.
There is a question that I can take here. The question is the time indicated a specific region, or is it Pacific time? And the due dates, the times that you see in the course are all set for Pacific time. And so all the due dates that you see are Pacific time due dates. There is a way that you can adjust the settings in your Canvas account so that it will reflect your local time zone, because I know that most of us are not in the same time zone. And the instructions for that will be provided to you at the beginning of the course so that you can set them so that you can see them for your own time zone. Missy, did you want to take this question about the certificates?
Yeah, I think, are you talking about that first one about do we have professional certification courses? Uh, that's the one I'm looking at. We do have courses that are for professional development. All of our courses are for professional development, and we can share more about that with you if you email us at edgh@uw.edu. But you can also find a list of the courses that we offer on our website. There's also additional information about the certificates that we offer and what that entails on our website as well. I'll post a link in the chat so that you can read more. But we're happy to answer additional questions, as well as point you to additional resources if you have questions about other offerings through the Department of Global Health, etc. There's a question here about someone joining the webinar late and having difficulty with logging in. So just to reiterate, we will send out the webinar link and we'll post this orientation webinar in the course, so you'll be able to access it later. Regarding Canvas accounts, some of you are sharing that you don't yet have a Canvas account, and that's something we'll create for you actually, so no worries about that. We will be sending you information about how to access the course and how to log in about 1 to 2 days before the course begins. This course begins on the 20th of September, so we'll be sending you information about how to access the course and get logged into the course website on the 17th or 18th, so 1 to 2 days before the course begins. That just depends a little bit on your time zone in terms of when you receive that email. At that time, you'll be able to reach out to us if you have any questions about how to log in or if you have any challenges. And the email that you can reach us at if you need to is edgh@uw.edu. Oh, and one more side note, we will be emailing you at the email that you use to apply for the course. That's also what we'll be using to set up your Canvas account if you don't have one already.
And Dewa, I'm happy to dive in on a couple of these. So there were a few questions about the discussion activities. And just a reminder that those discussion groups are different from your site groups. So you will be organized into groups of about 25 to 30 people, which will be different from your site group in the Canvas course website space. And so a question will be posed weeks 2, 4, 6, 8, and 11, I believe. And so there will be a question there, and then we ask that you respond, and then to read through your peers' responses and to just have a conversation. So just think of it just like you would have a conversation in an in-person course. You know, a question is posed to you and the instructor asks that you respond. So in some ways you can think of it as self-guided, but it is amongst you and a group of about 25 to 30 students. So hopefully that makes it a little bit more clear. And then there was another question about asking for some more information about the final presentation. And so throughout the course, you're going to be given some variety of skills. And the goal of the final presentation is to present a presentation or persuasive speech. And so you'll create a short presentation that tells the audience a little bit about your own story, who you are, who has influenced your life, to and where you wish to go in life. So that is one option, or you can do a persuasive speech. And that's about an issue you care deeply about and wish the audience to care about as well. And it should have a single message, make it clear to your audience what your message is. So there will be some slide decks involved, nothing major, about 5 slides. And it's really just an opportunity for you to take a lot of the skills that you're going to learn in this course and apply them. So it's an opportunity to test out your public speaking skills and just create something that you are passionate about, really. But there are, again, your final presentation instructions will be made available to you on day 1. So I highly recommend, even as you're going through module 0 and 1, to just take a look in the assignments tab, read through the instructions. Does not mean you need to start it on day 1, but it might give you the opportunity to start thinking about what your final presentation will be on. Will it be a final presentation, or will you want to focus on a persuasive speech? But actual detailed instructions are listed in Canvas and they'll be made to you. Again, the second you have your username and are logged into the online learning environment, you will be able to prepare yourself for the final presentation. So hopefully that answered that question as well.
Liz, there was a question that I wanted to answer. So somebody asked, oh, then I just lost it. Somebody asked about participating in a site group and what that means if you do all of the work together as a site. So I just wanted to talk about that briefly. So most of you are taking the course as part of a site group. And in terms of what that means, being part of a site group for the course, so you will be going through the course material together in terms of discussing the content and the topics. And a lot of sites have their own discussions as well on top of the ones that are due within Canvas for the course. However, in terms of the assignments, we do expect that you are completing the assignments individually. So the quizzes are quizzes that you are completing on your own. The discussions are the discussion forums are ones that you are participating in individually, and then the assignments, the written assignments for the course, the ILP and the final presentation, those are definitely assignments that we are expecting that you are completing on your own. And that's not to say that you're not welcome to get feedback from your peers, let's say on like your final presentation, but in terms of the work that you are putting into the assignment itself, it should be done individually. There's a question about the discussion group. So as Liz said, you will be randomly assigned to the discussion group in Canvas, and that's the one that you'll be participating in those 5 discussion forums throughout the course. And once you are randomly assigned to your discussion group, it will stay the same throughout the course. So you'll be discussing the topics throughout the course with that same group of 25 to 30 individuals.
Thanks, Dewa. And I can respond to the question about a little bit more insight also on the individual learning plan. I think the name of it sounds maybe a little bit more intimidating than what it might be. I think it's a very approachable assignment, but it's a comprehensive tool, or you could think of it as a journal for reflection, to help you really think about leadership and management skills and styles, and also really about how you'll be able to apply the concepts you're learning to your own professional career path, you know? So thinking about opportunities as you're completing course activities and self-assessments, the ILP is really just a permanent record of your learning and your plans or intentions for further professional development. And again, this will be another assignment that is available to you at the very beginning. We do have a nice video and narrative description that explains what the ILP is, and it walks you through it. So something else to consider once you are fully logged in before the course starts, or right before the course starts, on the 19th or 20th of September. So just taking some time to read through the assignments, but really just thinking of it as a self-reflective journal.
So we just have a few minutes left, and we'll try to answer any last questions that come in these last few minutes. If we are not able to get to your question, you can feel free to email us at edgh@uw.edu. I know that there's a lot of questions that it's a little bit hard to really wrap your mind around since you have not been added to the course yet. So a lot of these questions will be answered once you're actually in the course and interacting with the course material. But we do want to answer your questions, and feel free to type them here in the last couple minutes, or if we don't get to them, you can email us at edgh@uw.edu.
Thanks, Dewa. And there was another question about group discussions. So the discussion activities that are separate from your site groups, those are designated for particular modules. So modules 2, 4, 6, 8, and 11. And so you really have that entire week to participate in the discussion. So it's not a set time, but rather just a window of time to complete it. So you don't have to be logged in all together at the same time. So hopefully that answers the question. And then again, just a reminder, sorry, there was another question about the discussions. Your site groups are separate from your discussion groups for the discussion assignments. Maybe from us talking about this too much for an hour, making it confusing, but your site groups, those are your site meetings. Then for the other section, your discussions that you participate in Canvas, those are separate groups. And those are randomized group of people, most likely people that are not in your site, but other people taking the course. That is who you will participate in the discussion assignment.
Great, thank you, Liz. We've got one final question here, and that is in terms of what the length of the written assignments should be. So the ILP for each of the modules, there are questions that will prompt you with questions. And so those are typically about a paragraph. Each of the questions are, and there's a number of questions. Usually each module has anywhere from, gosh, I don't know, Liz, maybe like 5 to maybe 10 or 15 questions. And then you'll answer those kind of in like a paragraph format. And then the final presentation is pretty brief. It's about 5 slides of a PowerPoint presentation.
Or about 3 minutes of a persuasive speech.
Yes. Missy, was there one more thing that you needed to jump in on?
Oh, I was just going to add regarding site groups, the site group meetings. If you don't know about the site group meeting schedule with your group, you can definitely reach out to your site coordinator. They're likely in the process of planning those meetings and they'll reach out to you. Or if you have questions, you can reach out to your site coordinator who can fill you in on those details. And it sounds like we have additional questions. And as noted earlier, if you have additional questions that we're not able to get to, please do email us at edgh@uw.edu. We're happy to answer your questions.
Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.